Welcome to Monoreel Radio, Dockside Chat number 25. I'm Sean.
And I'm Jackie.
And we are here this week. So excited to be back at Dockside Margaritas. It has been a minute since we've been here.
Been way too long.
Unfortunately, we needed the rain here. We've been in a drought. But I didn't need the rain to come every night that we planned to be here at Dockside Margarita. Could have happened at a night that I was at work. I would have accepted that. No, it had to rain every time we decided that we were going to try and come out to Dockside. So this is going to be a very action-packed episode for us.
Yeah, and we were really up against it because I went back up to New York Memorial Day weekend for 2 weeks. So everything that we had planned for our May Dockside chat is now going to get rolled into this one, and we have the added challenge of getting this in before the next drone show starts, which is new to us too.
Yeah.
So if you're watching on Instagram Live as we're recording this, you might get to see our reactions in real time. We'll see. We'll see how good we do getting this done.
Well, you will see our reactions to our margaritas before we get into tonight's episode. So I went with the seasonal, the peach margarita.
Go ahead, just say it.
I could eat a peach for hours. So I guess, but the peach margarita did not sound appealing to you.
I don't like peach. Like I'll eat the fruit plain, but I don't like peach flavored anything. Don't love peach, don't love mango. So I went with a strawberry margarita because I wanted something frozen because it is hot and it's dripping all over the place. So we're gonna see how I do.
All right, well, cheers.
Cheers. I'm not clinking you because this is too messy. Oh, I gotta mix up.
That is delightful.
It's so hot. This is a frozen margarita, and it's like lukewarm already.
This is so good.
I'm happy for you.
Me too.
All right, let me try the peach. We know how this is gonna go, but I'll at least try it to say that I did it.
This is all in the name of research.
Mm-hmm. Nope. Still don't like peach.
Okay. Well, we could say that we tried.
Not a knock at my beloved Dockside, but I just can't do it. Can't do it.
All right.
Oh,
well,
good fire from the volcano. That's so needed right now.
All right. Let's get going. We've got so much to talk about tonight.
This episode is sponsored by Hidden Mickey Supply Co. Products include Disney and Pixar-inspired 3D straw charms, ornaments, and personalized photo nightlights. Listeners of Monoreel can get a 10% discount using the code Monoreel10 at checkout. Visit Hidden Mickey Supply Co. on Instagram and Etsy to stay up to date with all of the new releases.
All right. So we have so much here.
It's been so long since we've done a Dockside shot. We can revisit the what we're watching segment.
Yeah, that's how long it's been. But let's talk about what we're watching.
Yes, because aside from our movie reviews, obviously there have been a lot of content drops on Disney Plus lately, so we have been able to keep up with the shows. Most of them. We are terribly behind with Star Wars. We have not yet done Ahsoka, and we have certainly not done Acolyte. So we are woefully behind with that, but we will get there. Reason being is because I don't care. We're going to open the show this way, even though it's Hulu. There's a Bon Jovi documentary in my life, so that's what we're going to talk about. And that's also why I haven't watched Star Wars, because priorities. So Thank You, Good Night dropped on Hulu the last weekend in April. I know that because I did nothing that weekend other than watch this documentary after work. So it was like 3 o'clock in the morning, but I got it done. Did not even know myself that it was in 4 parts, and they were all over an hour. So I was pleasantly surprised with how much I got. And I was really taken aback by the whole thing. I mean, I would say production value wise, this is probably up there with Waking Sleeping Beauty for me. Bias of my favorite band aside, what I really loved about it is that they didn't shy away from the good, the bad, and the ugly, and they addressed everything that the fans have been wondering, because the last time that they toured, I mean, they did have a tour canceled in 2020. They tried to go back out on the road a couple of years later, but that was when you saw those videos surfacing because John was not sounding that great. He couldn't hit the notes. I mean, admittedly, at the live shows I've that we've been at, I would say within the past like 5 years, you
could tell.
he's struggling. And really, that leads to the second question on everybody's mind is what's happening with Richie Sambora. I think the reason that his vocals are so messed up, aside from the fact that he started hitting those notes before he had a vocal coach when he was young, Richie balanced him out, and he's been overcompensating for not having his right-hand man in this band anymore. So it starts off showing what he's been going through because surgery could have destroyed everything for him. So there was a really big risk, and he was trying everything, every avenue possible without having to do this surgery. And it's amazing the strain that he put on his entire body. Like, you wouldn't think it takes that much.
Yeah.
That much physical exertion just to use your vocals. But you could just tell he was struggling so much, and it was really heartbreaking to see. But there were things in this documentary that even I learned for as much as I thought I knew about them, and I love the way that they cut the success against the struggles that he was having, and they did it, much like Waking Sleeping Beauty. They start at the beginning with the success, take you back to the beginning, and then bring you to where they're at now. So it was really well done.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I thought that it was really well done. I thought that they did a really good job of towing the line. Frankly, I thought that it was going to be a Richie Sambora smear campaign, and it's not really what it was, because John Bon Jovi himself accepted a lot of fault in things. So very much an open book, and that was a surprise. I think my takeaway from this is I don't think they have more than one tour left in them. I hate to say it. And that tour is not going to feature Richie Sambora.
Please don't make me cry on the podcast.
I don't think Richie Sambora is ever coming back.
I would agree with that. I do disagree with what you said. I didn't think it was going to be a smear campaign. I knew John would take the high road, but what was really disappointing was this was Richie's chance, because he's been laying very low to tell his side of the story. And instead of doing it in a way that gets his point across, but still, puts everything in a positive light and makes him seem appreciative for what he had, he was bitter party of one. And he was just waiting for this. And I feel like he could have been a little bit more... just a little bit more professional in his approach.
Fair enough. So we got through the Bon Jovi documentary. We watched it separately. I can't speak on that.
I wasn't waiting.
No, and I can't speak on the next thing. So you go ahead and have fun.
So we decided when Taylor Swift started her European leg of the Eras tour that we were going to watch and review Folklore, the Long Pond sessions for the podcast. So we did an episode on that, and then I finally got around to watching the Eras tour because, full disclosure, with the hours that I work, I don't have 3.5 hours to dedicate to watching a concert. When I did, it was for my favorite band. For as much as I've seen on Instagram and TikTok, there were no real surprises. I thought the production value was really great. I thought she was phenomenal. I just wish that I had been able to watch it all in one sitting as opposed to 3 nights of it, because I didn't get to fully appreciate this girl's stamina for what she's done.
This just sounds exhausting. This just sounds so exhausting to sit through.
No, but to her credit, first of all, she's got the backup band, she's got backup vocalists, she's got backup dancers. But I'm sorry, did the Beatles ever do their full catalog like this? No, they didn't. She was a one-woman show, and she put it all out there and killed it. I'm not sitting here pounding the table. I do love and respect Taylor. I'm a fan, but not to a point where I went and bought tickets to this tour because I didn't want to deal with the nonsense. I don't do the fan theories. It's too much. But I still respect the girl, and even more so after watching this.
I watched the Beach Boys. Anybody that listens to this show knows that I am an old soul, and I have a great affinity for Brian Wilson. The Beach Boys, one of my favorite bands of all time. And I put Brian Wilson on the Mount Everest of songwriters. He's with Lennon and McCartney. He's with Carole King. He's with Neil Diamond. You know, he's up there on that list. He's debatably the most talented of all of them because he had a decade of his life stolen from him. With that being said, the documentary was fine. Without spoiling too much, if you haven't seen it yet, I feel like it told half a story.
Huh. I haven't seen it yet, full disclosure. I didn't get to watch.
I don't know if they were trying to not delve into what happened with Brian Wilson, if they didn't want to delve into what happened with Dennis Wilson. But I knew what the runtime was, and I'm watching it through the first time, because I did watch it twice. And I'm looking at the clock, and I'm like, you know, we're an hour into a 90-minute documentary, and we're only at Pet Sounds. How are we going to get through the rest of it? And they kind of didn't. They sort of just told half the story. It's very good. I think that kids will watch it and have an appreciation for the Beach Boys and for Brian Wilson and for their contribution to music and how it's evergreen. And I was impressed that they didn't shy away from a lot of the negative things. Brian Wilson openly admits, he's like, yeah, I started doing LSD and I wrote albums. Like, he now talks about it, and that was a pleasant surprise. I just wish they would have told the full story. So when comparing the two, I thought Thank You, Goodnight was better than the Beach Boys.
Interesting. My question for you, because I didn't get to watch it yet, did they get the Stamos interview?
No.
Wow.
I don't know if it's that he chose not to participate because of the fractured relationship after Big Shot was canceled. I was surprised.
Interesting.
I was surprised to see that he wasn't there at all. But they completely glossed over when he joined the band and Kokomo. Kokomo was the biggest hit they ever had that was not written by Brian Wilson. They completely just skipped over all of that.
And all of the TV time they got from Full House.
Right, which was on ABC, right? So it's good, but I feel like only half the story got told.
Well, I'm still excited to watch regardless. I do appreciate that they put this on Disney Plus because you do have your Taylors, your Mileys, your Ed Sheerans. You have a lot of your Billie Eilish. A lot of docs geared towards the younger generation. So I'm glad that they put something that can be enjoyed as a whole family because the parents will appreciate this music. So I'm excited about it. And, you know, the Beach Boys were a huge part of Disney history. They shot a music video here. So, like, this is a nice full-circle band to focus on.
Absolutely.
All right, so now some of the stuff that we have been doing because there has been quite a lot. So we're going to rewind you all the way back to our last Dockside chat, which was in April. Following our Dockside chat, not before because we were smart this time, we did the Skyliner bar crawl, which when this was pitched to me, at first I was like, bar crawl, say less. And then I said, no, say monorail, not Skyliner, because I made a solemn vow once we were locals to never take the Skyliner ever again. And I said, I don't care. I will drive the car underneath the Skyliner. I'm just not going on because I don't love it. It is perfectly safe. I'm irrational. I know all of this. I just don't like it. Don't like the dangle. But I love the friends that we did it with, so I went with it. And I think I did okay.
It was an absolute blast of a time. I'm so glad that we come here as often as we do, and I wouldn't trade that for anything. But that Skyliner bar crawl kind of brought me back to what is at this point a bygone era of us being here on vacation. So it kind of like took us back to that moment in time where we'd be on vacation on the Skyliner and jumping around resort hopping, because we used to do that on our off days. It was nice to kind of relive that again.
And especially because of that cluster of resorts in particular, we started at Pop Century, which was always where we stayed, even before the Skyliner was put in. So we haven't been to Pop Century really since 2021.
Yeah.
To stay there. And then we took the Skyliner over to, if you're interested in doing it on your own, it would be, then you walk to Art of Animation, hop on the Skyliner, do Caribbean Beach Resort, and then go over to Riviera, which is also walkable, which is worth noting because we were getting pressed for time. So those resorts are close enough where you could walk them. So then the following week, I had a huge weekend. We had our KMB travel retreat, which was so much fun. I was so excited for this because I've got to meet several of my fellow travel advisors last year, but we've grown so much since then. This was a chance to meet almost everybody who could come. So people that I've only been able to meet, via Zoom at this point. It was so nice to be able to chat in person. And Kelly and Erica just put together such a fun weekend that was equal parts educational and fun. Like it was edutainment at its finest, because for us who are local, we get to experience all of these things on the regular. So there was a good balance of things that were sort of new to even me as a local, but to the people that are coming in from out of state, there was a lot of value, especially. So they started on Thursday. I think they met up on Thursday night. On Friday, they did a bunch of resort tours where they got to, go in and see some of the rooms, definitely see the lobbies, learn about all the restaurants that are there. I unfortunately didn't get to go to that part of it because I was working, but that was the nice thing about it, is because I am local, I can make up that time on my own, and I do know most of the resorts. So again, for the people that don't live locally, so much value in that. And then I drove out that night to meet everybody because some of us were staying at Old Key West, which we've never been to because we're not DVC. We've never rented points to stay there. So we had 6 of us staying in a room. It was so comfortable for 6 people. We were able to, there were 2 bathrooms. It was more than enough space for 6 women to be getting ready and get out the door for an early day at Disney. Because the next day, we broke into 3 teams and we did a park challenge. So I still don't even know how Kelly and Erica masterminded this entire thing, because they had, it was seriously Taylor Swift level brilliance here of making different point values for different attractions or different rides. So if you were able to budget your time properly, you would point on all of those things. And then we had some mandatory challenges too, where you had to go into the park, get a picture with the park icon, get a picture with a map, and then everything else was sort of bonus to see how much you could rack up. And then my team, I loved the girls that I was with because we were on the same page from the jump of we were going to get to all 4 parks in one day. It wasn't even a question of if, it was a question of how. And we were just like a well-oiled machine making it happen. And we did get bonus points for being able to make it through all 4 parks and use every single mode of Disney transportation, including a lift. It was such a fun day, but truly my hat is off to you because I did 4 parks over the course of 10 hours. I don't know how you ran through them. I really don't. Still, I was dead from this day.
When you invest that much money into it, you're motivated to run and finish. And there's beer at the finish line, and that helps.
And then what was really nice too was that after we did the park challenge, we met back up at EPCOT for dinner at La Hacienda de San Angel, and Kelly invited out the friends and family, which I think in this case was you.
And Pat.
Yes. And we did dinner, and we got to see Luminous. It's a great, so we've seen Luminous, and what we've, the consensus has kind of been there's not a bad seat in the house. You can see it from anywhere. There's a good view. It's not like Harmonious where you have to be straight on or you're going to miss half of it because of the taco screens. There's great views from every single vantage point in every country. What I was surprised surprised at was how good the view was from that window in the room that we were in. It was so
It was great.
And the food was amazing. Like, we've been there before.
It's really good.
But I didn't get the tacos. This was my first time trying the tacos there, and I was remiss for not trying them sooner. They were excellent. I did the shrimp tacos. Cannot recommend them enough. But it was a really fun night. And then the next day, because I was already on property, you went back so that you could stay with Walt. And since I was already there, I decided to relax myself after doing the 4 parks for the spa day at the Grand Floridian, which has been a bucket list thing for me since we became locals here, really. And it was the weekend before my birthday, so I was like, you know what, when in Rome, I'm just going to treat myself. I don't usually do things like that, but coming off of working 2 shows, Jackie went into I don't care mode. And I really enjoyed myself. I will say this, the treatment that I got, it wasn't like the deep tissue massage that I think you hope for. Their idea of a massage is to kind of like wrap you up like a cocoon and like use heat to relax you. So it was lovely. I'm not complaining by any stretch of the imagination, but something to note when you're picking your treatment, like really read through and think about what you want. But the facility was lovely. It gives you access to you get a half hour before and a half hour after your treatment to use the sauna, the soaking pool, and then they have these really cool tiled lounge chairs that are also heated, which is an understatement. You sit on these things and it doesn't burn you, but like, wow, it's hot. It's not like being in a sauna. It is like sitting on a hot stone. That's actually exactly what it is. If you like a hot stone massage, you'll get that on your whole body if you sit in this chair. It was really nice. The staff was excellent. I highly, highly recommend it. But now I'm going to have to do more research and compare because I've heard the one at Four Seasons is lovely. I've heard the one at the Marriott Bonwit is nice. So I guess I'm just going to have to do a little bit more research and find the best one.
I'll just try out the other Disney golf courses that I have yet to try. That'll be my research.
Fair.
And then, for your birthday, it looks like they're starting to test drones.
Oh, look at that.
Either that or the invasion has arrived and we just have a front row seat for it. Could be either or. I'm pretty sure those are drones. Anyway, but for your actual birthday, we went to Coronado Springs.
Well, it wasn't my actual birthday. It was the weekend after. My birthday was in the middle of the week. If anybody's listening, I don't want to get in trouble for something that I didn't do. I worked on my birthday. But that's Saturday, yeah. No, and that is important to the story because there was also a cheer competition that weekend.
Oh my
which we
God.
did not know.
And it wasn't here though. That was the crazy thing. It wasn't even here.
I've never seen anything like it in my life. Like, International Drive was like all backed up, but then you start seeing like all of these girls in sparkly costumes. Parents are just like dumping them off in the middle of the road because I mean, I get you have to make your competition, but like it was not safe whatsoever. Vehicles were just like pulling over on the side, or they were just stopping and letting people. It was wild.
I've never seen anything like it.
No, and we thought we were going to be safe because it was the weekend around a lot of like high school and college graduations in Florida, and because everybody like up north and in the Midwest, they're all in finals mode. This is usually a slow time of year for us. We could not get over how crowded it was. We went to, so I wanted to go 3 bridges. We joined the walk-up list without a problem. But it was like a 40-minute wait for 5 of us, which wasn't awful, and they did take us sooner, but we just weren't expecting the crowd, because it seemed like a lot of these cheerleaders were also staying at Coronado, because you just kept seeing people in costume.
Yeah.
And then I got my golden, they have changed the menu at 3 Bridges recently. I got my golden standard poke bowl because I love it so much. And then a couple of you got the steak, and you guys didn't love it.
Wasn't good. Temperatures on them weren't right. They were very stringy. You know, that to me, Three Bridges, the burger at Three Bridges was the best burger on property. And they kind of went and changed it for reasons that I can't quite understand. And they changed the steak, because I had had the steak there previously. The first year we were here for your birthday, we went and had dinner there, and I had the steak, and it was fantastic. I mean, look, I give them credit because it's a reasonable price. So there's a level of you get what you pay for, but I would have been willing to spend $8 or $10 more just to get a better cut of steak. It felt cheap. I've never said that about Three Bridges. It felt cheap.
I also think that there was a little bit of shrinkflation happening on those plates too.
Yeah, it was not their best outing. I mean, I'm going to give them another try because of the half a dozen or so times that we've been there, it was always great. This could have just been a clunker.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. It was very busy. And also, they were understaffed. That's also why the wait was so long, because there were empty tables, but they were not seating people because they just didn't have the staff to keep up with the volume. So I would like to believe that it was just an off night. Everybody has one once in a while. I certainly wasn't disappointed. I didn't leave crying. I wasn't like, oh my God. I just felt bad because we had friends out with us. So like, I felt bad that I dragged them out and they didn't have like the best experience. And then we had enough time because they were turning those tables over, so we really couldn't hang out that much longer. We had enough time to come here. And I have to say, I really enjoyed it. We came to Dockside Margaritas because since we've been here as locals, we really haven't come here just to hang. We've done the Dockside chat, so like it was cool just being here and just sitting for a while and doing what we used to do.
Yeah.
Except now we're not wishing that we lived here.
I know. Now we're actually here. It was surreal, but it was nice to sit. As much as we enjoy doing this, it was nice to kind of go back in time to just sitting and listening to the band and taking in the fountain and having a drink and just chilling out.
Speaking of drinks, I've been trying to get a sip of this margarita. I don't know if I have like an ice chunk. It shouldn't because it's melting now. I've barely had a sip of this thing.
But after we left here, we did shoot over to Vivoli Il Gelato.
Oh yeah.
Which we had only done once previously, but it was a hot night. We were craving ice cream. And we said, you know what? Let's go ahead and give it a try. There's a few things there that we've been wanting. Let me tell you, what a great spot. When we were there the first time, I thought it was just okay. But I didn't get that cookie sandwich, that chipwich. I got that the last time, and it was like a hard cookie, and it was just messy. And I got like just a traditional gelato. It was so creamy. It was so good. I absolutely loved what I had.
You don't typically fuss over desserts like that. You wouldn't shut up without it.
That banana gelato, man, was unbelievable.
No, it was good. And I finally got to try it. So the first time we went there, I got a cannoli because, hello, Italian. And it was good. But it was like nothing special. You know, I've had better from, you know, more traditional places on Long Island. And that's, you know, in all fairness, they're mass producing them here. I get it. It doesn't have that same from scratch quality that you're going to get it. But I got I should know this, the Bambolo, the donut with the ice cream in it. And of course I got coffee flavored ice cream because I love it. I was up until 3 o'clock in the morning, but like it was worth it. It was so good. And it wasn't a mess the way that I thought it was going to be. Like it was pretty easy to eat. It wasn't melting all over the place. So that was good. And I was happy we had enough time to come here and try some of those things.
Yeah, really, really good. And then that week, was it the next day?
No, this was,
it was the following
a couple
weekend.
Weeks later.
Yeah.
There was Mother's Day in between. This was the last, or it was mid-May. It was the last 2 weeks of Flower and Garden.
Yeah.
And unexpectedly, we made it to both. We knew we were going to one, but we got to do the last 2 weekends of it, which was a fun surprise.
Yes, we had friends in from out of town, which is always exciting. And we went and did EPCOT with them, and we got to go see Sister Hazel in concert. They were awesome. Like, my 90s heart was so fulfilled watching Sister Hazel. Really, really solid show. I would go back and see them again.
Yeah, we did do some drinking around the world. We did get a couple of things to eat. And then we caught the last show, which was pretty empty, sadly. It was easy to get seats.
And it was, for reference, it was a Sunday night before the kids were out of school. So you're in that dead area here between spring break and Memorial Day.
I do think Saturday night was a little bit more crowded, but this was, even the park felt pretty empty that night, which was very pleasant to all.
Because they parked us in what's usually preferred parking, and we showed up at 5:30 in the afternoon.
That was wild. And we're almost forgetting, before we saw Sister Hazel, we got to check out the AP Lounge finally.
Yes!
Which was so cool. What a great use of that space. Like, they should have done this so much sooner. It was a hot day, so it was lovely to be able to sit in there. They give you water and tea and like snack mix, which I was not expecting. It was definitely elevated from when it was at the Land Pavilion.
Yeah, where you had a water jug and maybe M&Ms. And they have character meets going on there.
Who do we get to meet, Sean?
We got to finally meet the genie, so you don't have to hold it over my head anymore. Hooray!
For those that don't know, because I'm sure I've told this story on the show 100 times. On our first trip to Disney, Genie came out, and this was at a time where we'd come in November and the parks were pretty empty. So we should have been able to hop online and meet him pretty quickly, but Sean did not move fast enough, and a line formed, and I've been waiting to meet him ever since.
I've skipped him at every Run Disney event, because I knew I would never live it. I don't have to do that anymore. You've met him. All is right with the world.
No, and he was a good sport, because I was like, what's up? Haven't seen you in a few millennia. And he appreciated that. But yeah, Sister Hazel was good. I have been asked, so I feel like we need to address it. They did, in fact, take off their shoes. I guess that's a thing when they play. But yeah. They did, or at least one of the band members did. But it was cool to get to see those songs that we grew up on live. But really, the next week was like la pièce de résistance.
If we were not living here, we would have gotten on a plane and flown down just to do this. That's how excited we were when this got announced.
We are, of course, talking about Lit performing for the first time at an EPCOT festival. We caught them when they played the Hard Rock live at City Walk back in January. And they announced then that they would be back. And I believe that they actually did that prior to the official schedule being released. So as soon as the lineup for Flower and Garden came out, we knew that I was going to be going back to New York on a Saturday. So our only shot to go was Friday. We don't do this often. We put in for the day off from work because we were like, we are not missing this. We are not doing a dining package because we didn't have the best experience. I mean, it was fine for Joey Fatone, but because the show is so popular, we didn't get that close. But I was like, I'm getting there early. I'm going close. I want to be close. I want the whole experience. So what we did, and if you're going to do this, do the right thing.
Do the right thing.
We parked at the boardwalk. We went to Abracadabra for a roadie. And we crushed our drinks in the 5-minute walk it takes over to get into the World Showcase entrance. So we got in through the back way and then just made a straight beeline for the America Pavilion to line up for the show. To our surprise, and I have mixed feelings about it, I still do, I wanted it to be packed for them because they've said they've been trying to get the invite to perform at one of the festival concert lineups. And I think because their songs are a little bit more edgy, even though they do have radio-friendly hits, I think Disney might have been a little bit hesitant to have them here. And now that every other band of that era has performed at some point, I think Disney couldn't ignore it anymore, the request to have this band here. So I really wanted it to be crazy so that they felt that they were appreciated. It wasn't, but I do think Saturday was probably a little bit busier. I think the drone show here is what pulled the crowd.
It was the same night.
Which was great for us, because our friends who did the dining package, we came in first, and we were in the second row. And they got first row, so they made out with their dining package. It was totally worth it for them to do. But at one point, and then they moved us, and we were, for the first show, we were the second row. And we wanted to do all 3 sets. We knew that going in. We got first row
for the other two.
Which was great, because after sitting in the second row, I was like, oh gee, I hope we're not too far back, because now I'm spoiled and this was so much fun. But we got front row for the next 2 sets, and they were just incredible. Not only did they sound great, they were so appreciative to be there. They were so great to the fans. The bassist Kevin handed me the guitar pick from one of my favorite songs, Ziploc, and I did not know what was happening, because like a real millennial, I was watching through my phone and I did not see the pick dangled in my face, and I have never felt so incredibly uncool.
But it was very cool.
Thank God, they're so nice. I mean, we've met them before. That's part of the reason that we've stayed fans for so long, is because they're just so good to us. Like, we saw them, so at the time, I had just started working at a concert venue on Long Island. It was a small venue, like 1,500 seats, and they were part of the Endless Summer?
Summerland. And
tour.
then it became Under the Sun.
Yes, with Sugar Ray and Everclear and Gin Blossoms and Marcy Playground.
Everybody else that plays the festivals at EPCOT.
Exactly. So the tickets were like super expensive, and since I had just started working there, I wasn't going to ask for any favors. And then we saw that they were also playing at Mohegan Sun, and for what it would have cost us to go to the small venue, it was cheaper to go to Mohegan Sun and stay the night there. And we were like, all right, we'll get a whole long weekend out of it. The show was so good. We didn't even care. We ended up shelling out the money, because at one point the show was sold out, but because I was working there, I had a tip off that they were releasing more tickets. So they were like, we can't comp you, but if you want to pay for them, the tickets are yours. And we were like, all right, we're coming, we're on our way. So we got to meet them. They did the record signing before
at Looney Tunes in Babylon.
Looney Tunes, and that's where we got to meet them. And they had said, "Are you going to the show tonight?" And at the time, we didn't have those tickets yet. They were going to try and give us tickets from their team.
They were trying to get us tickets.
And then when we ended up making it in on the tickets that we purchased, they recognized us. And they were like, "You guys made it!" So they're just really cool guys. They really care about their fans. They really appreciate the people that have stuck with them. And they stuck around after the show here, same way, and they were meeting people.
Super, super nice. Gave you FaceTime, and
even with their families and wives and girlfriends here, like, they still gave the time of day.
And we were conscious of that we didn't want to take an awful lot of their time. It was just like, can we take a picture? Thank you. Oh, and thanks for a great show. We'll see you when you guys come back next year. And that was what it was. But they were outstanding. It was a really, really fun night. I'm glad we got to do Flower and Garden one more time, and I'm glad that we were able to see them. Like I said, if we weren't living here, we would have been on a flight strictly to see that show and come home.
Yeah, for sure.
And then you went back to New York for 2 weeks, and today you flew back in. I picked you up at the airport, and
just got me.
We came right here. You haven't even been home. You haven't even seen the dog yet.
I know. I cannot wait to smush his little face.
But we came here, and we were undecided about where we were going to eat tonight. We were between like 3 or 4 different places. And we ended up deciding ultimately on a restaurant that we've talked about on the show before. I think it's a hidden gem. You almost want to give it a bad review so people don't figure it out, but I'm never going to do that. because everybody should go to Terralina Crafted Italian.
Well, especially you should go if you're a Florida resident this summer. They're offering a discount on,
From now through August.
From now through August, it's 25%?
25% off all food and non-alcoholic beverages.
And seriously though, the food is so good there. Now you literally just picked me up off of a plane from New York, so I've had nothing but deli sandwiches and Italian food for like 2 weeks straight because I carb loaded while I was up there because you can't get it down here, except at Terralina. I would say the quality is just as good as it is at home, and that is not a review that I give out very often when it comes to Italian food in Florida.
I put it up against any of them. But we sat at the outdoor bar, which was great. It was hot, but you get a nice cold Peroni, and I was sitting under the fan. Oh, it was nice. We ordered the mozzarella stuffed rice balls, which if you don't even bother going. You're doing it wrong. I will judge you. Get them.
Seriously, it's like a hybrid between a mozzarella stick and a risotto ball. And it's just like the cheese pull is insane.
We got sandwiches because we were back and forth on, do we just order a bunch of apps and get a flatbread pizza? We've done that before. And they had the Italian grinder, which you were kind of looking at. They had the chicken parm sandwich. I was kind of looking at it. And we said, you know what? Why don't we just each get a sandwich? There's a restaurant by us that, for as long as we moved here, I said, had the best chicken sandwich I've ever eaten. It was recently taken off the menu. I hope it comes back. This was it's right there. It's so close to taking the crown of best chicken sandwich. It's a huge fried chicken cutlet, and thick, not like a thin pounded chicken cutlet. It's a thick piece of chicken. The fry on it is phenomenal. The marinara sauce is spectacular. The melted mozzarella cheese, and then they have, forget it on the side. This is the hack. The pesto aioli. Oh my God. So good. I have half the sandwich to eat tomorrow. It was so big on that nice, like, ciabatta bread. So good.
That's how I knew you were enjoying yourself, because all these years that you've claimed to not like pesto, that I wanted to put it over pasta for you.
I don't like pesto.
You were, oh my God. You're going to give me a coronary. You were dipping your chips in there like it was onion dip or something.
It was delicious, and that's why it's a good hack.
No, it was great. It was really, really good.
The house-made truffle potato chips.
Okay. I feel like whenever a restaurant claims to do truffle fries these days, it's very subtle. They're not really, they're skimping on the truffle oil, not these chips, on every bite. It must have been like a spray because they were coated through and through. It was so good. Like, I'm going to pay for this meal because between the salt on the chips and the salami, I am already so parched right now. I'm probably going to have to get a bottled water for the ride home, or ice cream or something. I'm already...
What a range.
I'm very thirsty already. And the
ice cream is not going to fix that.
It might. It might make it a little better. But no, this was really great. I really thought that having just come back from New York, I was going to be like, it doesn't hold up, but it did, and then some. It was delicious.
Super good.
It's great because it's really easy to get bar seating there. I hate to say it.
And it's easy to get a reservation, too.
Yeah.
And we're about 5 minutes away from the start of the second drone show. So that is going to be interesting. We're going to get to see that live.
But we should start wrapping this up, though, because they are pumping music in, and we're not going to be able to compete. I can tell you that right now.
Yeah. Well, then let's wrap up with the last two talk topics that we have here, starting with something that is so exciting that is coming to Disney Springs.
We literally saw it on our way to dinner. We had no idea this was coming. This hasn't been in any Disney news, nothing. Raglan Road is getting another bar.
Yes, so the roller bar that sits in front of the building. Oh, it's the Orange Bird theme song. This is great.
Oh my God!
the roller bar that sits right in front of the gift shop is gone, and they are adding Patty's Bar. It's going to have bar stools. It's going to have a walk-up window. It's going to have Irish whiskeys. I think that's kind of like what they're leaning into based on the picture that I saw, but we're getting another standalone bar. I am so excited.
Good evening, friends.
Good evening.
During tonight's show, the lighting around the west side waterfront will be lowered.
We'll wait.
For your safety and for that of others, we ask that you please remain where you are until the lighting returns to normal.
Okay, I've had worse
Disney
seats.
Dreams at Soar will take flight in just a few minutes.
I am
This is great.
shocked because I really thought this was going to be the place to watch from, and it was going to be so quiet. We can get another round.
Oh, we're going to have to do that. But yeah, like so exciting. We're getting another bar over at Raglan.
No, it's great because the rollaway bars are great, but you know they only come out when it's very, very crowded. So to have another staple bar there for to-goes is going to be great.
Yeah. Now, there's going to be a lot to discuss on this later, specifically after the D23 Expo, I believe. But are you okay?
It's the Rocketeer.
Is it? Maybe, I can't tell. I don't know if it's the Rocketeer. Anyway.
You want to bet Victoria and Albert's on it?
No. Let's talk about the potential for a fifth gate and 2 more minor parks. The state of Florida has approved the expansion. I mean, Disney owns the land, right? But they still need the permits to get the job done. But they have approved it. We know that they're investing $17 billion into the state of Florida, into Walt Disney World property. But it's encouraging news. I'm sure we're going to get more on this at D23 Expo. But it's just a very wonderful kiss and make up scenario for all parties involved, and I think we're all better for it.
I am just stunned that not more people are talking about this because it's not breaking from Disney clickbaity sites. It's coming from legitimate sources.
Yeah.
So I can't believe people haven't taken it and run with it yet. But I get where people are cautiously optimistic because of everything that got announced at D23 2019. They can break ground and get permits all they want, but until they announce the concept, people aren't going to get excited. And with that, it's go time. The drones are up.
All right, so we do have a straw charm to give away, courtesy of our friends over at the Hidden Mickey Supply Co. The first person to DM us the word or email us the word drone is going to get a straw charm from the Hidden Mickey Supply Co. You can email us monoreelradio@gmail.com, or you can DM us on any of the major social media platforms at Monoreel Radio.
Thank you for not making it peach.
I can eat a peach for hours. Damn it! Thank you guys so much for joining us this and every week on Monoreel Radio. I'm very excited to see this show. I told you. Yeah. Be sure to follow us on all of that social media. And, of course, links to everything can be found over at monoreelradio.com. For Jackie, I'm Sean. It's drone time. Have a magical week, everyone.